One night, in 1992, a toy boat surfaces in a suburban pool. A young girl named Rebecca goes outside to retrieve it for her sick brother, but an invisible force shoves her into the water. As the lights flicker, a rotting entity grabs her leg, dragging her into a bottomless abyss. She vanishes forever, leaving only a slipper behind. In the present day, the Waller family is looking for a new home. Ray Waller, a former baseball star forced into early retirement by multiple sclerosis, sits in the car with a severe headache. Alongside his wife Eve and kids Izzy and Elliot, they look at a house they dislike. On the drive back, Ray spots Rebecca's old abandoned property. Eve loves that it is close to her school, while Ray is mesmerized by the large backyard pool. While looking at it, Ray slips and falls into the water. Submerged, he daydreams of hitting a home run and finding a cure, giving him the burst of strength needed to surface. Later, his doctor recommends low-impact water therapy, so the family buys the house. They enthusiastically move in, and Izzy quickly befriends a popular boy named Ronan. Over the weekend, the family cleans the pool. While clearing the main drain, an unseen force slashes Ray's hand, causing it to bleed heavily as muddy brown water erupts from the pipe. A pool technician explains the water comes from an underground hot spring with rumored healing properties. Once clean, the family dives in. Eve tosses coins for the kids to fetch, while Ray practices his exercises, amazed that the water eliminates his muscle strain. That evening, Eve goes for a solo night swim to relax from high medical bills. The family cat, Cider, growls from the diving board as the pool lights flicker violently, forcing Eve to scramble out. She finds Ray asleep in bed, proving he never went outside. The next morning, Elliot finds Cider's collar floating, but the cat is gone. Ray reaches into the water to grab the collar, and when he peels off his wet bandage, his deep wound is completely healed. Soon, Ray becomes obsessed with his workouts, swimming energetically at night. At his next checkup, the doctor reveals his illness is miraculously in complete remission. Later, Ray draws a smiley face on a coin and tells Elliot to play a solo fetching game. Elliot drops the coin with an action figure into the pool, and suddenly, dozens of coins rain down around him. He dives to collect them, seeing a dark figure on the deck, but surfaces to find the yard empty. Suddenly, a violent pounding hits the diving board. Elliot hears a girl's voice calling for help from the skimmer intake. He reaches inside, only for a decayed hand to clamp onto his wrist from a bed of wet human hair. He tears himself free, catching a glimpse of a ghastly spirit. A traumatized Elliot runs to Eve, but Ray dismisses it as a lonely child's imagination. To help the family socialize, Eve throws a massive neighborhood pool party. At Elliot's baseball practice before the party, Ray steps up to the plate. After striking out twice, he channels the mysterious energy of the pool, hitting the ball with such devastating force that the stitches rip apart and the ball shatters the floodlights. The night before the party, Ray and Eve go out, leaving Izzy in charge. She invites Ronan over for a game of Marco Polo. While Izzy seeks with her eyes closed, Ronan plays a prank by leaving the pool. The patio radio cuts to static, and a terrifying entity rises, whispering a distorted "Polo." Thinking it's Ronan, Izzy dives underwater, only to find the pool has stretched into a pitch-black, bottomless ocean. The entity grabs her leg, dragging her down until she breaks free and swims toward a square of light, bursting through the surface just as Ronan pulls her out. Later, Elliot tries to talk to Izzy about the haunting, but she tells him to drop it, refusing to ruin their father's recovery. On the day of the party, a terrified Izzy stays on the lawn, while Elliot records the pool from his window. In the kitchen, Eve confronts their realtor, Kay, who confesses that a young girl named Rebecca previously drowned there. Out by the pool, a neighborhood boy climbs onto Ray's shoulders for a chicken fight game. Suddenly, a thick black substance erupts from the drain and enters Ray's mouth, possessing him. Ray's eyes turn black, and he clamps his hands around the boy's legs, walking into the deep end to drown him. Elliot spots the attempted murder on his camera feed and runs to Eve. The boy's father dives in and saves his son just in time, revealing deep bruises on the boy's legs. Ray sinks to the bottom, non-responsive, until Eve performs CPR to revive him. The party disperses, and the baseball coach agrees not to press charges, but bans Ray from practice. A desperate Eve commands the kids to pack, but within seconds of driving away, Ray falls violently ill, coughing and vomiting a tar-like black liquid. They return home, and Eve forces Ray into bed, locking him in. She runs outside and drops the draining hose into the main valve to empty the pool. The next day, Eve researches the property's grim history, finding that every past family lost someone to drowning. She tracks down Rebecca's elderly mother, Lucy. Spilling black tears from her eyes, Lucy confesses that an ancient spring called Temagami sits under the house, granting wishes in exchange for a human sacrifice. Lucy admits she locked her young son in his room so the water could take Rebecca, curing her son. She urges Eve to let the water claim Elliot so Ray can stay healthy. When Eve calls her a monster, Lucy chokes violently as black sludge oozes from her eyes, nose, and oxygen tank. A terrified Eve flees. Back home, Ray steps into the shower, and the contaminated water supply completely possesses him again, as the backyard pool mysteriously refills with black goo. When the kids get home, Elliot hears a faint meowing and goes outside. He sees a cat carrier floating in the center of the pool and crawls onto the diving board. Suddenly, the mechanical cover handle spins on its own. A waterlogged entity pierces the float, sending Elliot crashing into the deep end as the cover slides shut, trapping him. Eve speeds into the driveway, rushes to the backyard, and tries to stop the spinning handle, but it throws her back. Izzy runs out to help, and together they break the mechanism. Eve dives into the pool, watching the bottom give way to a gargantuan abyss. She resurfaces for a garden hose to breathe, then dives deep into the dark void. Inside the house, Izzy searches for her father, slipping on the flooded floors and slicing her hand on shattered glass. A black-eyed Ray manifests from the dark, knocking her phone away and striking her face, muttering that Elliot must be sacrificed to keep him strong. Izzy runs and locks herself in the garage as Ray heads to the pool. Deep in the abyss, Eve locates a drowning Elliot. Rotting corpses of past victims surround them, trying to tear the boy away. Eve fights them off, but loses her bearings in the pitch black. Suddenly, the ghost of young Rebecca appears, tossing Elliot's smiley face coin. Watching it sink, Eve realizes they are swimming upside down. She follows the light and bursts through the surface, dragging Elliot onto the deck. As Eve frantically performs CPR, a possessed Ray towers over them, wrapping his hands around Eve's neck to throttle her. Izzy bursts out of the house with a baseball bat, smashing it into Ray's legs and striking his stomach until he violently vomits the black fluid. Ray is flooded with memories of his family, breaking the entity's hold. As Elliot revives, the main drain bubbles with black goo again. Ray realizes the spring will never stop until it gets its sacrifice. He bids his weeping family a final goodbye, turns around, and willingly dives into the abyss, offering himself up to save his son. The dark energy vanishes, taking Ray with it. Sometime later, a heartbroken Elliot watches an old video of his father. Eve asks if they should sell the house, but the siblings point out the entity would just claim another family. United in grief, they stay, standing together as a massive dump truck pours tons of heavy dirt into the pool, permanently burying the malevolent spring forever. This movie ends here. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon.